Now, I really do like stews, but they take so long. Hours later, you're still waiting. Oh, stop being silly. You do that while you're watching television. You put the stew on and you're right. But I also like it when I'm in a bit of a hurry and I want to do stew for one. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. It's a tricky Hewitson version. You know how tricky I get. And I'm making basically a lamb stew with lots of veggies. Combination of veggies. I'm doing a really nice 3-root mash to go with it. You'll like this. Really is good stuff. But what I've got here for my stew is I've got a prime cut, and this is called a backstrap, which is a boned trim loin. Now the butcher will trim it for you. And when I say that, you know, I see on television all the time them saying, oh, ask your butcher to do this. Ask your butcher to do that. Ask your fishmonger to do that. You go there on a Saturday morning, of course he's not going to do it. But with these back straps, they're always trimmed. The butcher always trims them, so this is an easy way. So, and I've just cut it into even cubes. So as I said, it's a bone loin. You heard me say that? Yes, good. Right, and I'm just heating some olive oil up in a pan, and I'm just going to seal this, and then I'm going to pull it out. So just in one layer, as I said, this is my tricky version of a stew. It's not the traditional way. And I'm going to season that really quite well with some sea salt and pepper. And then we're just going to toss it around until it's sealed. And then we'll pull it out. And all will become apparent later on. Looking good. I don't want you to overcook this. I want you to keep a real eye on it and keep it a bit under. So it can go straight back into that same bowl. I think we could do with a little bit more oil. I'm a little low on the olive oil in that. And I'm also going to add a good dollop of butter. Just have a look here. What I've got is I've got some button mushrooms. Now I'm only doing, as I said, for one. So there's 4 button mushrooms there. I'll throw those in. 4 little baby onions. Throw those in. And there's some lardons of bacon. Now you don't have to add the bacon. The bacon is, my friends, optional. I actually quite like it. I reckon it gives extra flavour to the sauce. So once that's tossed around, what we then do is we add just a tablespoon of flour. This is just your thickening agent. Now do it now, because it will then cook. But keep an eye on it, because you don't want it to burn, because the flour can burn quite easily. Scrape up all those bits and pieces off the bottom. They've got lovely flavour. Just like when you make a stew, you always scrape off all your caramelised juices. Well, it's the same here. And you don't need to cook that for long. This is only a small amount. And then I'm adding some veal or light beef stock. Packet's fine as long as it's low salt, and also some diced canned tomatoes. And we can add more of that as we go along. And then I'll add a few aromatics to it. Definitely plenty of garlic. This is supposed to be garlicky flavoured. So I've got 3 cloves of garlic there. I've also got a few sprigs of thyme and a couple of bay leaves. So as that reduces, I will add some water, not stock, and maybe a bit more tomato, but I don't want it too tomatoey. And just simmer that, turn it down. That'll take us, 10 minutes. Right, this is looking pretty good. Just a little bit of a taste, just to check the seasoning, you never know. I mean, you've got bacon in there, so sort of, you most probably won't need any salt. No, you won't. Now we return that lamb and any juices that are there, and we just cook that to the desired degree. Now this is not supposed to be a well done stew. It is actually supposed to be sort of pinkish in the centre. I've got some few frozen peas just to put in at the end, just to add a little bit of colour. And I'll just turn that down because I just want to finish that off, but I don't want to cook the heck out of it. I don't want it boiling like mad, because if it boils like mad, you know what's going to happen. It's going to toughen. And we do not want that, Iain. Right. Now, my 3-root mash, which I have cooked over here. So when I say 3-root, I'm talking about 3-root vegetables, which is Swedes, carrots, and parsnips. And it's supposed to be roughly mashed. Just keep an eye on this. I don't want that to boil, because if you boil it, you really will toughen that up. As I said, I want it fairly coarse. I'm not looking for a puree here. That's a beautiful mash, it really is. My mother always used to do the one which was parsnip and carrot. I've just got all carried away and I've added some Swede to it. Now this is a generous portion, as you can see. A little bit of parsley on top. Now normally with lamb, you would serve a straight Cabernet, but because it's got a tomatoey based sauce, a Shiraz Cabernet is a better bet. Canunga Hill. Now we're talking. You really are. A modern lamb stew with 3-root mash and a pretty bloody wonderful wine to go with it.